be an old person. Have you ever seen the movie 17 again? If you haven't, don't worry. I'm about to tell you it in my blog post that we're about to read right now. That's right, the quickest introduction. Okay, let's go. This blog was posted March 5th, 2023. Blog title 17 again, why it's not worth it. Have you seen that Zac Efron movie? The dad zaps back to age 17 and rules the school because, hello, older people are so wise and know how to do high school right. No awkward moments or embarrassments because most adults won't fret over the same stuff that teenagers do. We've gained the knowledge to overcome the time our crush walked past us and we hid behind the lockers. We realized that the jokes that bullies made were pointless and a bit idiotic. If we went back, we'd like to assume we'd overcome, just like in 17 again. A few times I thought about what I would do if I could go back. Would I? If I had to live through all of high school again, I think that's an easy answer. Never ever would I go back. No, please. I'd rather gain 4 more years of life than relive that. But if I could relive select moments or even experience 1 week, I used to think that I would. I imagined the success I would have if high school Mandy had the knowledge that Mandy in her 20s has. I'd know what advice not to take, very important one, and all the moments I talked too little or too much would be balanced out. People would know me rather than knowing my teenage social quirks. On top of that, I would also have the knowledge of the future of all the peeps of my school. I know who would stick by my side and who would stay as reliable as poster putty holding up a framed photo. There'd be no wasting time on frivolous crushes, and there'd be more time investing in strong friendships. In all my pride and glory, I thought if I could go back with the knowledge I have now, I would rule the school. Not in the sense that I would become Miss Popular, but I believed I would become complete in my understanding, and that would put me in a better state of control. I would feel on top of everything. One day, this belief came crumbling like a graham cracker sitting in milk. I sat waiting for a college class to begin. As a senior, I happened to have a few years on the other kids in the class. They were mostly freshmen and sophomores, with some juniors and perhaps one other senior or two hiding in there. I loved the class and the people, but in a few minutes, I had an experience that shattered my assumption about becoming 17 again. My seat neighbor, my go-to conversationalist before class, was absent. Feeling tired, I decided to lay back in silence until our instruction began. Our class knew one another well enough that sometimes one person would start relaying a story to 20 other people. This afternoon, that happened. There were high-pitched shouts and giddy voices and jokes and bright eyes as they discussed a date with a boy. Fun, right? It was cute, the excitement the storyteller and the story listeners felt. There were random exclamation maids and increasingly raised volumes of chatting. It fit the image of younger girls caught in the highs of love, even if they were just living it through one another. In my silence, however, I thought to myself, I'm too old to be here. Increasingly, I felt distant from the college scene as of late. Perhaps others have experienced this, but I could tell my upcoming graduation came in good timing. It was time to move on. The people around me were great, but I was moving on to a different life, a different way of experiencing life. I realized if I felt ready to move on from college freshmen and sophomores, how on earth could I go back to high school freshmen and sophomores? If I were 17 again, even for a week, I'd have to spend that time with most people acting in a way that I no longer vibed with, worrying about things I was no longer concerned with. I would not only feel way out of place, but eventually I get fed up with constant surrounding jokes and interactions that were no longer apt for where I'm at in life. Of course, age doesn't determine everything. This is less about interactions with individuals and more about an interaction with an environment I have long since outgrown. With all that said, in that moment, I realized that I no longer would want to go back. Not even for a week. Perhaps not even for a day. Thinking, if only I knew what I know now, wouldn't really help high school me. I wouldn't be high school me if I knew what I know now. I'd be 23-year-old me. And 23-year-old me does not belong in high school. Instead, it's best to use what I know now for now. I'll do my best to keep learning and growing and enjoy life in the moment because, after all, I will never be 23 again. Okay, yes. So 23-year-old me did not fit in high school. Also, since 23, I'm now 24, I realized that even if I did go back for a week and somehow was able to get past the environment, I'm not even sure I would rule the school. I think we feel a little overconfident sometimes in our knowledge, but especially with teenagers, you just never know what they're going to do or any of that. Like, if you get classified as something, oftentimes in high school, you get classified as something. Not saying there aren't people out there who will overlook that. Like I said, I had people in high school who stuck by my side no matter what. And I went through some crazy high school times. You guys should know that from some of my past posts. But I don't think I want to be 17 again. I have thought about being 18 again, but that's mainly because I miss playing collegiate soccer. Oh, those were so fun. And even then, I think I would only want it for one day. Maybe just like one practice and a moment after practice to chat with my best friend, who I'm going to see soon. So I don't know. I have what I need in life right now. Even with all the wild things that come with growing up, I'm glad I'm growing up. I want to enjoy each year for what it has and what I am. Even if I'm not the top of the food chain, that's fine for me. Right? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna reference so many blog posts, but just like I said in my last blog post, if I blend in and no one notices me, fine. That's okay. I don't need to rule the school, I don't need to rule the city or the college or the world or anything. Just want to do good for others and keep learning, growing, so I can keep helping. I hope you all have the same motivation, and if you've ever had those moments of feeling nostalgic or wanting to go back, I totally understand it. I've been there. Hope it was an enjoyable food for thought, and thanks for tuning in to this quick little video. I love y'all. Appreciate the support, especially we have been growing a lot lately, and it's very exciting. I'll talk to you next time. Bye!